Hitler's foreign policy aimed at overturning the Treaty of Versailles and expanding German territory. This led to the reoccupation of the Rhineland, annexation of Austria and Czechoslovakia, and eventually the invasion of Poland in 1939, triggering World War II. Adolf Hitler's rise to power and subsequent fall represent one of the most notorious and tragic chapters in modern history. His ascent from an obscure Austrian-born aspiring artist to the Chancellor of Germany and FHR of the Nazi regime, followed by his catastrophic defeat and demise, reshaped the course of the 20th century and left an indelible mark on the world. Adolf Hitler was born on April 20, 1889, in Braunau in Austria-Hungary. His early years were marked by struggles and failures as an artist in Vienna. Influenced by pan-Germanic and anti-Semitic ideas prevalent in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Hitler's disillusionment with the political establishment deepened. Hitler's entry into politics began in the aftermath of World War I. He joined the German Workers' Party, later renamed the National Socialist German Workers' Party Nazi Party. His charismatic oratory skills and ability to tap into the frustrations of post-war Germany propelled him to leadership within the party. In 1923, Hitler attempted to seize power in Munich through the failed beer hall putsch. During his brief imprisonment, he wrote Mein Kampf, outlining his ideological beliefs, including extreme nationalism, anti-Semitism, and Lebensraum, living space for the German people. The book became a foundational text for the Nazi movement. By the late 1920s, the Nazi Party gained support, exploiting economic turmoil, political instability, and public discontent. In the 1932 elections, the Nazis became the largest party in the Reichstag, but Hitler did not secure an outright majority. Nevertheless, President Hindenburg appointed Hitler as Chancellor on January 30, 1933, believing he could be controlled. The Reichstag fire of February 27, 1933, provided Hitler with a pretext to suppress political opposition. Using emergency powers, he pushed through the Enabling Act, effectively granting him dictatorial authority. The subsequent dissolution of opposition parties and suppression of dissent solidified Hitler's grip on power. Hitler initiated a process of Gleichschaltung, or coordination, to bring all aspects of German society under Nazi control. This included the suppression of trade unions, the establishment of the Gestapo secret police, and the elimination of political rivals, notably during the Night of the Long Knives in 1934. The Nazi regime utilized propaganda and mass rallies to cultivate a cult of personality around Hitler. He was portrayed as the savior of Germany, revered by millions and considered infallible by his supporters. Hitler's foreign policy aimed at overturning the Treaty of Versailles and expanding German territory. This led to the reoccupation of the Rhineland, annexation of Austria and Czechoslovakia, and eventually the invasion of Poland in 1939, triggering World War II. In the early stages of the war, Hitler's military strategies, particularly the Blitzkrieg Lightning War, resulted in rapid conquests across Europe. France fell in 1940, and Nazi Germany seemed unstoppable. However, Hitler's decision to invade the Soviet Union in 1941 marked a critical turning point. Operation Barbarossa overstretched German resources and resulted in a brutal war of attrition on the Eastern Front. The devastating defeat at the Battle of Stalingrad in 1943 marked a significant setback for the Nazis. As Allied forces launched offensives in North Africa, Italy, and Western Europe, Hitler's military leadership faced increasing challenges. The D-Day landings in Normandy in June 1944 and the Soviet advance from the east hastened Germany's collapse. Hitler's refusal to accept defeat and his disastrous strategic decisions, such as the Battle of the Bulge, contributed to the eventual downfall of the Third Reich. As Soviet forces closed in on Berlin in April 1945, Hitler retreated to his bunker beneath the Reich Chancellery. On April 30, 1945, with defeat imminent, Hitler committed suicide by gunshot, along with his wife, Eva Braun. Their bodies were hastily cremated outside the bunker. Hitler's death marked the end of the Nazi regime. On May 7, 1945, Germany surrendered unconditionally, bringing an end to World War II in Europe. The horrors of the Holocaust, the devastation of war, and the legacy of Hitler's regime would shape global politics and society for generations to come. Adolf Hitler's legacy is one of infamy and horror. His ideology of racial superiority, totalitarianism, and militarism resulted in the deaths of millions and the destruction of entire nations. The Holocaust, in which 6 million Jews were systematically murdered, stands as one of the darkest chapters in human history. Hitler's rise and fall serve as a stark warning against the dangers of totalitarianism, extremist ideologies, and the consequences of unchecked power. His life and actions continue to be studied, debated, and remembered as a reminder of the capacity for evil within humanity and the enduring importance of vigilance, democracy, and respect for human rights.